quitting alcohol. So it's a fucking bloodbath out there in crypto world at the moment. Bitcoin down 12.5% in the last 24 hours. Perfect time to jump into the market for the boy Al. The boy Al got in there at 23,800 USD. That is United States of American dollars. And it immediately went down another 2%. But I'm happy to be in the Bitcoin game. I'm going to keep buying. That's what they say. When there's blood in the street, buy. And when I say they, that was a YouTube comment I read. That's what I base most of my life decisions on. YouTube comments. I'll be watching someone with like a PhD interviewing someone else with like 2 PhDs. And I'll be like, this is one of the most amazing conversations I've ever heard. And then I'll scroll down the comments and some dude with like a Kobe Bryant fucking thumbnail photo will be like, these guys are fucking idiots. They don't know anything. And I'll be like, yeah, they probably are fucking idiots, really. And they probably don't know anything. But I'm in on Bitcoin now. It's probably going to go down a little bit more or maybe a lot more. Who knows? I can't predict where the fucking bottom is. No one can. But I feel like they really tried to crash crypto today. Some big fucking money was thrown around. Which, if you buy while they're trying to crash it, it's really a wealth transfer from the wealthy to the poor. If the poor people buy it while the rich people are trying to crash it, then that's a wealth transfer the opposite way than it usually is. Usually it's the poor people's money going to the rich people. But if the rich cunts are trying to crash it and the poor cunts just fucking keep nibbling away at like $200 Bitcoin here, $150 Bitcoin here and there en masse, then that's a wealth transfer. So if you've got a few crumbs, fucking take some of the rich cunts' money. Anyway, it'll all end in disaster for me, but I'm happy to be in it. I'm happy to be playing the game. So I am back in Sydney, back from Port Macquarie. It was like a fucking 7-hour drive. It ended up being a fucking pleasant trip. Spent 3 days there hanging out with my mum and my brother. I didn't really speak to mum, like we weren't conversing. We didn't really speak at all, which is progress. No speaking is better than yelling and fucking cursing each other out. So I'm going to say that's progress. It was fucking pleasant. The kids loved it there. My brother seemed like he was doing all right. I mean, he's still cooked, but he didn't seem as cooked as last time I saw him. He's definitely choking down some darts. I said I'd buy him a vape. It almost kicked off at the end there, actually. I almost left on a real sour note. So I'm fucking telling my brother, I'm like, I'm going to fucking buy you a vape. I'm going to buy you the juice because he has this old shitty vape. I said, I'm going to buy you a good vape. I'm going to get you the fucking juice. I'm going to tell you how to get the juice. And then you just fucking work it from there, all right? And he's all pumped because they said they can't lower his medication because he's on real high doses of whatever the fucking shit they're giving him. Clozapine or clozapine or some shit like that. They said if he fucking can quit smoking or at least cut down a bit, they can fucking reduce his medication. And he didn't mind smoking the vape. He's just too fucking retarded to be able to get his own vape juice. So I'll fucking sort that out for him. And after I said I'm going to get you the vape and all that, I also said, listen, I'm going to buy you some omega-3 as well. Some omega-3 fish oil. And I want you to take like 4 a day. I'm going to get you fish oil and I'm going to get you fucking vitamin D, okay? And I need you to take 4 of each a day. It will just fucking clear your head out during the day. And then I hear, no! That was mum. No, I need to speak to the doctor before you start giving him any medication. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Medication. He's already on this other shit and he can't be mixing. I'm like, it's fish oil and vitamin D. And she's like, I know vitamin D. I wouldn't take that shit. I've done my research on vitamin D. I'm like, what? She's like, I wouldn't take vitamin D. I've researched it. I'm like, you haven't researched anything. She's like, I have. I've researched it. Trust me. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I just ignored her and I'm like, listen, I'm going to send you some fucking omega-3 oil. Just take it, please, because it's going to be expensive shit. And just take it, all right? And vitamin D. No. Just in the background. No. He's not taking anything until I speak to his doctors. You can't be mixing medication. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's omega-3 and it's vitamin D. It's sunlight. He won't be taking anything. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I just fucking stopped, took a deep breath again. And like I was saying the other night, when I get real furious now, I just fucking stop and I see how the other person is reflecting my faults back at me. And then I realized again that I was pretty much doing the exact same thing that she was doing. We're both doing the same thing, just in opposite directions. She thinks she's fucking researched vitamin D, and I think I've researched vitamin D, and we've just obviously gone down different paths. She's gone down the path where, I don't know where she's gone down, but she's gone down the path where vitamin D is poison or something, and I've gone down the path where it's like, you need it to survive. But you know what I mean? We're still doing the same thing. We still think we're experts in something we have no idea about. If anything, I'm more in the wrong because my mum was like, I want to speak to the doctor before he takes anything new. And I'm like, fuck the doctor. They don't know anything. Just take the omega-3 and take the vitamin D, all right? That's it. And then there was a little bit of an argument and my brother was like, can you two stop fucking arguing? And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm sheathing my sword. It's going back in. This is all part of growing up. It's quite embarrassing. Anyway, it's fucking Ask Boyle. I almost forgot about it today. It's a public holiday here in Australia for Queen's birthday weekend. That old hag cunt is turning... I don't even think it's her birthday. I don't know. That was another thing that fucking annoyed me about Mum. She was like, you got to give it to the royals, don't you? They've done a good job. She's done a great job. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't say any of this, though. It was just all in my head. I said, yeah, they're good. Yeah, she's done amazing. That fucking old, wrinkly reptilian bitch. Anyway, let's just move on to this week's Ask Boyle. It's Ask Boyle time. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by my man Neil over there in fucking WA, Western Australia, Perth. And Neil asked this. Are you worried that your son is going to listen to the podcast when he gets older? Well, Neil, you have come to the right place. It is a major concern, Neil. I am very concerned about that. Like when I was younger, my dad used to tell me these stories, like him growing up in New Zealand, then coming to Australia and all this, all the wildest fucking stories. I'll tell you some of them when he dies. But I used to just sit and listen to his stories for hours, just fucking enthralled. And I think it was from then that I was like, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to get stories like this. That's all I ever wanted, was to get some fucking great stories. That was like my whole fucking aim in life, was just to collect great stories. And later on, as I grew older, I started thinking about that. I'm like, fucking, I think Dad may have told me these crazy stories a little bit too young, because I remember him starting to tell me like stories that I probably didn't need to hear at like 9 years old, although I wanted to hear them. And I did say to him one day, like when I was older, I'm like, I think you started telling me those stories a little bit too young. And he was like, yeah, I thought about that myself. And he's like, maybe I shouldn't have, but have you had a good time? You seem like you've had a pretty good time, and if I hadn't told you those stories, then maybe you wouldn't have had such a good time. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of checks out. I've had a good time because I somehow survived. If I fucking had died, I wouldn't have had such a good time. And it was only by pure luck I didn't die. So yes, I am concerned, but I'm gonna try and raise him to be someone that doesn't value shit like that. Also, I was pushed into that direction as well because I was like fucking a juvenile delinquent as I was growing up. And if I have anything to say about it, my son will not be. And my daughter, I'll try my best to prevent her from being a juvenile delinquent as well. But she seems like trouble. She's only 1.5 and I can already tell she's fucking trouble. I just wouldn't want them to imitate me because they think some of the shit I did was cool. Because it might sound cool in stories, but at the time, most of it's pretty fucking horrific. So in that respect, I fucking am concerned, very concerned. But in another respect, I pretty much started this for my son. For my son, because he was the first one born, and now it's also for my daughter as well. Because I felt like I was going to die. So I was like, it would be nice to leave something behind so they would know sort of who I am, just in case I did. And now it's gone for so long that I've just had to reveal fucking everything. Now they know too much. Now if they listen to this, Dad is no longer a fucking mystery. Dad is a fucking rocket scientist. So just in case I do die and my kids are listening to this right now, don't try and imitate any of this shit that I've fucking said on this. It's all bullshit. Live your life. Be your own person. Think for yourself. That's what I'll be proudest about. Being your own person with your own thoughts, independent from anything else. Think for yourself. And also, I need to reiterate this one. Do not smoke weed. Please, for the love of fucking God, don't smoke weed. Until you're like 20-something, 22, 24 or something like that. Not in your teens. Don't smoke weed in your fucking teens. I've seen it cook too many people. My brother's cooked, fucking my uncle's cooked, cousins cooked. Most of my friends are cooked. It's not for developing brains. It's for later on in life. So yeah, anyway, it's a double-edged sword, but it is what it is. And you know, I'm just trying to be honest here. I'm just trying to be as honest as I can be. I am who I am, and that's all there is to it. That is the most pretentious thing I've ever said on this podcast. Anyway, that'll do for tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around, and I'll see you the fuck later.